Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to discuss permanent resident of Australian visa and advantage, disadvantages and document list, how to apply, how to check the eligibility, all these things we are going to understand in terms of PR for Canada, Australia. Um, is Australia still giving PR? The permanent resident for Australia allows you to work and settle in Australia for a period of 5 years. You can change the status of citizen after 4 years of formal work. The PR visa for Australian also allows you to move along with the family, and you can become a permanent resident to Australia by applying for and being granted a permanent visa, and it allows you to remain in Australia indefinite timely. The most common permanent visas include some skilled work and for family visa. So entitlements are like, what are the advantages, what are the benefits of having PR visa. That is like, the Australian permanent resident and the Australian citizens are not the same. That you have to understand before you could apply for this. But as a permanent resident of Australia, you are generally can remain in Australia indefinite time, and work and study in Australia, enroll in Australian national health schemes, medical schemes, and apply for bank loans and buy properties, sponsors eligible relatives for the permanent residents, and apply for Australian citizens if eligible. Travel to and from Australia for as long as you travel, facility permits, and attend the English language classes provided by the Adult Migrate English programs, and work in New Zealand. You may also qualify for other government benefit services if you hold a permanent visa, but you are not residing in Australia. You are eligible for the above may be impacted. Contact the relevant government department or authorized to confirm your rights to obligations. Unlike Australian citizens, permanent residents generally cannot have a Australian passport and vote like Australian government elections unless you enrolled or become a British subject before 26 January 1984. Access student loans and join to Australian Defence Force and obtain ongoing work in Australian government and return to Australian from overseas without a valid travel facility. So these are not permitted to the PR. Otherwise you are eligible for all these benefits. So in order to check the eligibility, I just click it here. It will take little time to, so that will redirect to this page, residence calculator. The residence calculator helps you to estimate the number of days you have lived in Australia. Use the results from the residence calculators. So usually for PR there are two subclasses. One is subclass 189 skilled independent visa, and one more is there, that is subclass 190 visa. So we would be discussing more on skill independent visa pointed test streams, and in this we have to see that it is a permanent resident visa, and cost for to apply for this, and processing time, it depends on the processing time. Some applications will be considered within 59 working days, some would be 5 months, some would be 24 months and 35 months too. So that depends on the application to application, person to person. Application should be aware that points tested skilled migrant visa applications that are not on occupations with a central sector may exceed the average processing time. This is because each visa subclass contains applications that have different processing priority. Occupations with a critical sector or given higher processing priority. So with that, with this visa you can work, study anywhere in Australia, and sponsors eligible relative permanent residents, and if you are eligible you can become an Australian citizens too. And you must have the occupations on the relevant skilled. We'll separately check that in upcoming classes, and you have a suitable skill assessment for the occupations and be invited by to apply for this visa, satisfy the point test. So So we have to check our eligibility now. With this visa, you can stay in Australia permanently, work and study in Australia, and enroll your Australian public health and care systems schemes, and sponsor your relative to come to Australia and travel and from Australia for 5 years. And if eligible, you can become an Australian citizen. How long you can stay? This is a permanent visa. It lets you to stay in Australia indefinitely. The visa has the travel component and expires of 5 years after the date of visa grant, and you become a permanent resident on the day we grant the visa. And for citizens purpose, you permanent residence starts on the day we grant the visa. If you are in Australia, you enter Australia on this visa. If you are an outside from the Australia, include your family. You can include members of family until in your applications. You can include them when you are lodge your visa applications, and then after you lodge your applications, about before we decide your visas. And cost, as you know, the visa cost of Australian 4,115 for the main applicant. There is also charges for each family members who applied for this visa with you. To outwork your visa cost, uses with the visa pricing estimators. And apply form, you can be outside Australia when you are applying visa, and when you decided your applications, but not immigration clearance. So processing time, as we have already discussed, it is depends on the person to person and the domain to domain, and your demand list, everything includes in this regards. Okay, so we'll check the eligibility. Next one is eligibility. So while checking, there are a lot of steps that you have to do it. Be invited to apply, and before applying you have to see the EOI, that is express of interest. Express of interest gives terms and conditions, and you have to view and read all the conditions thoroughly. View the private statement. I have read, agreed the terms and condition. I understand that the department will communicate with me electrically. So I just say yes. Next, your notification, relationship status. When completing your express interest, you should select the partner as your relationship status. If you have a spouse, de facto partner, the department definitions of this terms are available. So I would say yes for this also. Next, here you have to fill all the informations. Once you filled, you have to come back to the be able to score 65 points more, and this is the point tested visa. When you are submitted your EOI in a skill test selected, you will be given a indicative point score based on the claim you have made it. If you do not obtain a score 65 points, you will not be invited to apply for this visa. If we do invite you to apply for this visa, your invitations will state the number of points that you must score when we access your applications to grant of the visas. This score may higher than 65 points, and depending on your claim and EOI. When you lodge your applications, you must provide evidence supporting your claim and to calculate the many points you may score. So first we have filled our application, second thing interest of expression of interest, and then point calculations. We will be doing skill dependent visa. So we have to say that there are certain points would be given based on your age. If you are below 25 to at least 25 to less than 33, it is good for you. If you are more than 45, then the point is very low you will get. So we'll start doing this. Next is language, English language requirement. Usually Canada would be asking English as well as French language, but Australia will not ask both the language. English is sufficient for Australia. So proficiency in English and superior in English. So if you can say superior in English, at least 3 but less than 5 years. Overseas skilled employment. If you are zero requirement also, you can apply some other consultancy we're talking about, but I would not be recommending you. If you are having a less than 2 years of work experience, I would recommend you. If you have more than 3 years, then you can apply for it. Otherwise, it's a waste of applying. You will not score good marks. So if you have already superior in English, you have to claim and you have to add your document in there, then only they'll acknowledge it, and at least but less than 3 years. Okay, so Australian skilled, if you do not have, you just say you have to claim, you have to give a certificate in regards to this. So what is your higher education? Diploma, 10 qualifications, bachelor, doctorate, and yeah. Do you have at least 1 year diploma, trade qualifications? Yes, sir. Do you have master's degree by research or doctorate or degree, Australian educational institutions? That I do not have. So credential, community language, have you been accredited the professional level or above certified, the certified professional level or above, or have a community language credential for interpreting or translating by National Accreditation Authority for translator on interpreters? I say no. Study or regional Australia? No. A partner skill, select the relevant partner skill required. Your sponsor de facto partners, and your single, your partner is Australian citizens. So you have to say about your partner or spouse. Your spouse or de facto must also be an applicant for this. Your I would select this. Did you complete professional year in Australia? No. And you are already got the point here, 85 score. Okay, then you are really selected for this thing. For age, you have got 25 points. For English language, you got 25. And work experience outside Australia, 5 points. Work experience in Australia, 5 years, and qualification 20 points, and Australian study requirement 5 points, and Australia in community language 0, study in Australian. So this is the overall that you have got the points. If you get, so you will be getting invitations within expected time. Otherwise, for let's say that your age is above 40, then here again 15 points would be. And if you're not into proficiency language, your language is not that great, then you would be getting less mark here. And work experience in Australia, 5 points will be removed here. So that's all, I guess. Here Australia also is given the competitive English language level, that some test provides after alternative versions. There are tests that can take at home or online, such as TOEFL, IBT, or special home editor like IET and IELTS. So what to provide is to provide you have completed your English provides evidence, and that you can you are a citizen and hold a valid passport issued by United Kingdom, or if you are applying for United States of UK or other different countries, and you have to write IELTS, that is International English Language Test Systems, and at least 6 of each of your writing, reading and speaking and listening skills. And if you are writing a TOEFL, at least 12 for listening, 13 for reading, and 21 for writing, and 18 for speaking. If you are taking PET, that is personal test of English academic, PET academic, at least 50 for each of the 4 components, like reading, listening, writing and speaking part. If you are writing IET, that is occupational English, at least B for each of the 4 component, reading, writing and speaking and listening part. And Cambridge C1 advanced test, at least 169 for each and 4 components. So when to provide proof, when you must have taken your test and how long test result is valid for. So as we all know, usually they give only 2 years of test validations for Canada. So test cannot have been undertaken more than 3 years before the date of applications. Here they are giving 3 years for every test, but Canada they are considering only for 2 years. For 189 applications they are giving 3 years, and again for subclass skill nominations also they are giving 3-year validations. That's all for the day, friends. Do like my video and subscribe my channel. I hope these videos are helpful for you guys to do by yourself, and watch our videos and follow our videos and support us. This is going to be helpful for the people who are applying for themselves. Thank you and have a great day. Bye.